terms of heavy stuff, I guess. It's the exact same as clean stuff, but just like more wanking. You know what I mean? Ah? All right, questions regarding that? All right, so next. This is my 3rd fret. This is my 5th fret. Yes, sir.
So you haven't got a great deal of musical education?
0. Well, no.
Yeah. So when you're playing this stuff, do you rely on patterns? You know, do you think in fret patterns?
I guess, actually, but I mean, more than that.
When it's pentatonic, you think over a certain number of frets in a certain pattern.
Yeah, patterns way more than scales.
In a C tuning, you think over a different pattern.
I don't even know about that.
No.
I think it's like when my fingers, I know that when my fingers do different things, I feel like it's like a different color. You know what I mean? So like. So I know that if I'm looking for a certain like emotional response to music, I know that my fingers fall in a certain way. Paul Collins, hey, here comes my toys. Do you have it?
Do you want me?
Yeah, it'd be wicked,
What
man.
do you want?
The fractal will be sick, man.
And your guitar?
Yeah, my guitar. That'd be wicked, man. Thanks, dude. Paul Collins, everybody. The deliverer of toys. He was going to come down the chimney earlier. Yeah, so like arpeggios, I get stuck in like, not ruts, but like I get fascinated by things for like a record, right? Because when I first started Ziltoid, I was all hung up on arpeggios. And that extended into deconstruction and a bit of ghost, but it's like, you know, I got really fascinated by like, how do you make a certain feeling, right? Like confusion, right? Like I remember the, what's that from Color Your World, right? It was like, is it deconstruction? There's like, goddamn, so many arpeggios in my shit, man. I can't even figure it out anymore. Oh, at the end of deconstruction is like. It's like each time you try and explain something with the lyric, I just try and remember that certain patterns make me feel a certain way, and then I seek those out, right? So if it's like a song about rainy days or something, right? I know it's like a half distorted sound reminds me of rain, or like, you know, or if it's about happy stuff, you know, I know that like this like the big major octaves, and the reason I know it's major is because someone, I mean I know, but someone told me, right? But it's like, you know, whole tone steps, right? It's gonna happen, that one. I always like the heavy stuff too, just to like hammer home those sort of points, more so than more so than like a real connection to like Cannibal Corpse or anything. I mean, I like that sort of shit when I was younger too, right? And all that. But I mean, as I get older, I mean, it's like, what do I feel like listening to this morning? You know, got myself a bowl of oatmeal here. Things are feeling pretty Cannibal Corpse. Doesn't happen anymore. You're just like whatever, dude. So, hi. How you doing? How you doing? What's your name?
Kev.
Kev. Where'd you get that hat? How come it's so awesome? What's that?
Up in Scotland.
Really? You came from Scotland?
No, from down south.
When you get there, you should see that. It lifts boats dry, sort of rotating.
Yeah.
I could deal with that. Is that like the uniform in order to watch the boats lift? It's like a whole flock of people done up in like panda outfits.
Not quite, but it is required to walk into sliding doors.
May I try it at all? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
You're regretting the loss of hair.
Me? Shit, no, man. The only thing I regret it for is when it's got a little comfy. Yeah, what do you call it? Hat?
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't smell like my hats. My hats always smell like scalp. It's like disgusting, right? Yours does that too. Okay. Who's here? Who's in a band? What's your band called?
Orion.
Orion? Nice. Nice. Anybody else? What's your band called? Honest Thief. Is it you? Anybody? No?
So can I go 14?
Who likes video games?
Try it, yeah.
Yeah, really? Really? Why? I don't get it. My brother-in-law was playing, it was called Gears of War. And it was like one of the last times I got stoned. It was like years ago, right? It was like not one of the more recent. It wasn't one of the more recent Gears of War, and I got all stoned, and he's got like a 5-year-old kid, and he's running around the hallway, and it's just like, and he goes, "You gotta watch this dude have a toke," and I was like all stoned. He's got some like 57 million inch fucking plasma screen, and Gears of War comes on, and it's this guy on a train going, "Die!" I'm just like, oh my god. Last time I played it was like, what was my game? I was saying to somebody here, Wipeout, or no, Wipeout. Yeah, Wipeout. Burnout, where you go really fast, it goes 200 miles an hour and things explode and tells you you're awesome, and you just have to press one button. That's my game. Yeah, that's how we roll. Okay, so we're gonna wait, and once this gets set up, it's gonna be good. Where's the guy who runs places? Even, hey, you know, what do people do at clinics? Is that what it is? That's it? All right. So, how about you? Good. Okay, that's good. So you guys want to hear about chords? They're a cluster of notes that come together to imply a certain tonality so the listener can relate to the lyrical content. So suspended, again, suspends one's perception of what the lyrical concept is about. So when you do a resolution to a big octave or a major chord at the end, or to a minor chord, by the end you're just like, wow, that's what that was. You know, I was being held with bated breath, or basted breasts, as it, you know. And at the end, the payoff is something that is entirely up to the musician to. And I think that says a lot about the motivations of the musician as well. If you end on a minor chord, you're a depressing fucker. And if you end on a major chord, you're a deluded motherfucker. But if you end on a suspended chord, hey, who knows what could happen? We got an acoustic show tonight, and when I say we, I'm talking about me and the other Dev in my head here that's currently screaming to go home and play bass. But both him and I are doing an acoustic show tonight, and I think the best bet will be to take requests. Because these last 4 nights of doing these shows has really been an immense amount of effort. Like, just the preparation alone is just like, you know, mentally raped everybody involved. And Paul and Mike were there for the whole thing. Oh, hi. Do you run the school?
Yeah.
Is this your school?
I wish.
Nice. No, you don't?
No.
Okay. All right. Who runs the school? What's it called? What's the school called? School of
Performance Academy.
What is it called?
Performance Academy.
Performance Academy. So you actually like not just to play but to perform too, right? Okay. Well, when I perform, here we go. Because I'm almost 40 years old and I got the skinny fat guy physique. I don't know if you know that one. But it's like what I usually do is the first time through a song, I very rarely have any rock moves, right? Because I'm trying to focus on where to take a breath and everything. By about the 4th time through it, you learn where rock moves 1 through 42 go. And you know, okay, well, at that word there, I can take a breath and put my foot on the monitor and like make a funny face, right? Or,
I saw you climb up the balcony at the City Hall wearing a pair of chicken slippers.
You're probably right. I was younger. I was still in my wiping poop on things. I remember that video. Yeah, I remember that video. No, it wasn't that one. It was Sweden. Because when I first did the thing with Steve, I was like, I want to go do my own music, you know, because I was like that. You know, I was one of those kids. It's like, hey, I've got a great opportunity here, but fuck it. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I want to go play my own music. And in Sweden, they said, no, we're going to tour for another 6 months. I said, no, dude, we had a deal, right? He says, no, we're going on tour, and that's the end of it. And so I destroyed like 5 of his guitars. Like I was like 19 and just had it, right? I came running down the stairs and threw all the shit into the mud and everything. And that was the night I joined the Wild Hearts, actually, strangely enough. And yeah, note to self, if you ever get into a situation that provides you with something that is, you know, more than you should rightfully have at that age, not a good move. You know what I mean? Hold that shit back. There we go. So thank you, Performance Academy. Rock moves 1 through 42. Establish where to take a breath and then grimace and gesticulate wildly. And if you're in a good situation and you decide to like be an asshole, make sure you're insured. I've been doing it for 20 years. Oh, you ready? All color, ladies. And the lights around and everybody's home. Yeah. Okay. Didn't work either. How's this position? The best thing about flying V's, you can sit in this position, you don't see my balls. You like Nile? Does that make me cool? That's a good record that's come up recently. Mike showed me this thing, this guy John Hopkins. It's a fucking good record, man. What else have I heard recently? I like that Robert Plant, Alison Krauss thing. That Raising Sand. It's a good record, man. Good record.
Because of T-Bone Burnett.
Yeah, the guy's amazing. He's unbelievable. Absolutely. And also they did a re-release of the Old Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack, which is ludicrously beautiful. And I didn't know that was Gillian Welch. Welch, is it? That's singing that as well? It's her and Alison Krauss. That's the type of music, man, right there. It's like Nile, except less Egypt. Right? You getting it now?
We're getting one side of the effects of the guitar, so it's good enough to go with.
By the time this is done, guys, this clinic's going to be over for like 20 minutes. And at the end, just to make it worth your free admission, I'll definitely sign whatever you want. You know, some guy asked me to sign his cock the other day. He was loaded. He was like, "Bro, check it out, man! I got a tattoo on my wang, bro!" And I was like, "Wow, you are so creepy."
Right or left?
It's like, I can't imagine how someone would think that was like a compliment.
Right. You'd be right.
I was like, wow, dude, I'm just kind of like not into cock. Thanks, though. Definitely looks functional. Dick. It's another thing as well, it's like, there's a song on the Key record. It's on the Key record called Synchronicity Freaks. And I was quitting drinking. I went like to this Alcoholics Anonymous like once until I realized that all paths led to like religion, which like, didn't do a whole lot for me. But I was like, you know, what really gets me sometimes about doing music is you get people that relate to the music, because you know I definitely like to think of music. There's that philosopher Carl Jung that has this idea of the collective unconscious, where everything sort of like stems from a pool of like common human experience, right? And therefore nothing is really original. You're just kind of like everybody's putting in the hours to represent something that they have the, you know, privilege of being able to hear based on their circumstance or whatever. And so I just think, you know, like music is just there, right? But you get some people that because they relate to it, they think that, you know, you need to talk or you're related in some way, or you're the same. You know, I mean, the schizophrenic kind of like mentality, right? And then he goes, oh yeah, synchronicity freaks. That's what we call them. People who are convinced that everything is like, you know, either a conspiracy or like based on, you know, some sort of like common thread between us. And I mean, Jesus, that's the thing that gets like difficult. You're like, of course everything's connected, right? But it's like, I think a lot of that's also just like, there's 7 billion people in the world, and everybody's looking for validation so they can have a voice in some way. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, we're the same. It's like, of course we're the same. I mean, how many human emotions are there? It's like 12, you know? Oh yeah, you're singing about that one. We're the same. It's like, oh yeah. Right, this song about like lust, you mean? Oh, it's super unique to you and I, brother. No? 283 ain't bad. That's like Cher. So don't be sad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I've never been to a guitar clinic. I guess I got to talk more about fucking guitar. Okay, so it's an instrument that was made in the early 1700s by a man named Peter P. Guitar. And he decided that by stretching moose entrails along a 2x4 at different intervals, you could get very pleasing pitches. So he sat around a campfire one night and began strumming his moose entrail guitar. And his buddy, Peter Banjo, said, hey, I got a good idea too. I'm going to take this cake pan and I'm going to put together my own version of the instrument. We're going to start a band. And thus the guitar was born. And now, 25 years later, we're here with the PV Devin thing. And if you've got 1,400 pounds, which is pretty expensive, you should buy one, because PV's given us 250 pounds to do this today, and they've been very generous, and if you don't, then, well, you know. So that's how the guitar was made. And the axe effects, hewn from the finest element axe effectium, and basically you just add like a pinch of fairy dust and a handful of like sawdust, and poof, they're born themselves. You can make your own, but this one comes in a fancy box and it's much more. Oh, should we be playing now? Ah, all Collie. Should I maybe sing a song? Talking about music because guitar doesn't fucking interest me at all. I mean it does because it's my voice, bro. But the idea of it being, you know, some sort of technical, you know, athletic feat is just so 1984, man. You know, I use it as a vehicle to write. And I got a bunch of different ones, and I use different types of guitars for different things. Right? For this sound here, I don't use this guitar. But after 4 days of screaming my bag off and like having cheeseburgers falling from the roof, it's the only type of music right now that I actually want to hear. Right? Next, I'm writing this record called, I think it's going to be called Epic Cloud, because we've spent 10 months in airplanes, so my view has typically been the outside of an airplane. I got to have a window seat. I like that whiz. The only problem is I got a small tank too, so I have to whiz every 20 minutes. Right? So the guy is sitting beside me, I'm like, I'm really sorry. Luckily, sometimes it's Mike or Paul, though, right? So I can dude, I gotta piss, come on. I gotta take a slash. But I also can't pee in public, which is really weird. You know, it's like I got nervous kidneys, so it's like I hate sports. I don't hate them, I get it. You know, it's like a metaphor for war, I get it. It's like interesting. Everybody needs it so they can go just like, yeah, man, you know, our particular part of the world is like much superior to yours because the people from out of our town that we pay lots of money for approve that. You know, unequivocally on the gridiron, right? So that being said, what was I talking about? Sports. We're talking about, what What was right before sports? Remember? You were paying attention.
Epicloud.
Epicloud, right? What was it? How does that fit into it?
Window seat on the plane.
Window seat on the plane. Peeing.
Yeah.
I gotta pee. No. It's not true. I don't gotta pee. Yeah. But yeah, Epicloud's gonna be next. And sports sucks. No, it doesn't suck. It's actually a wonderful way to spend time with your loved ones. Oh no, peeing. That's right. So I was at a sporting event, and people were yelling at each other, "Suck 'em in the cock," and all that sort of stuff. So I at the time I was drinking beer. I was like, well, this is very interesting. I'm with my brothers, and and I'm yelling out profanities towards the man in the tight underpants. This is very good. So I had a couple beers and I had to pee. Right, so I went down to the urinal, and there's a bunch of dudes still talking about the games with their dinks in their hands. "Yeah, fucking guy, he should have kicked the ball further," or something, right? And I couldn't pee, so I was just like, "Oh my god, I gotta pee. I can't pee because these fucking really dumb people are talking about balls, right?" So I couldn't pee. So I started on tour now. I've got my iPod, and I got a pee song for every tour, right? So when I'm on the bus, I can put that on, and I can and I could just pee every time I hear the song, And it was I think there was Under Pressure, David Bowie was one. But it wasn't. It was too sparse. So it was Raining Blood by Slayer, right? So now every time I hear it at a club, I piss myself. This Pavlovian response. Somebody's like, "Yeah!" And I'm like, "Oh, jeez." So how do we get to that? Epicloud. All right, so the next record might be called Epicloud, but eventually I'm working towards this Z Squared, which is going to be my big old musical, right? And I've got a bunch of other characters. I thought of a character the other day for a new. I think Slothra is going to be his name. Be a superhero that just goes to fight crime, but he's way too slow. So he's to the Slothmobile, right? He's and the whole episode while Ziltor's doing shit, he's trying to get to his car and he forgets his keys halfway. He's fuck, right? But as soon as he gets the car, he's "Bah!" He's gone, right? But he always misses it, right? But I think Z Squared, because at the end of the record Alien, the strapping record, there was a bunch of Morse code in that last song, Info Dump, and it was based on this Nova thing I saw about Andrew Wiles, who solved Fermat's last theorem, and it was the equation ended up being x squared plus y squared equals z squared, and then tied together. Modular forms and elliptic curves are the two modes of scientific thought that were previously not thought to have been connected in any way, and it was a very simple equation. I like that metaphor, right? So that was all Morse code, as you would expect. And so I think Z Squared, Ziltoy 2, will also be the answer to that, right? And I want it to be we got a new manager. He's based in somewhere, England, and he's great. He's Opeth and Catatonian. And he's "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to make shitloads of money." And he's like, "Well, why?" I said, "Because I fucking hate money so much that I would love to make immense amounts of money and blow it on the most ridiculous shit ever, 700-foot Ziltoids, with cheeseburger cannons and a 500-person choir singing about shit and just oh, and the guitar and this chord is a suspended ninth, and so yeah, the shit and cannons and cheeseburgers and all this sort of stuff, right? Because I think it's just the only way to the only way to make that point. To make the biggest middle finger you can towards these things is just to use it against itself, right? So the goal, I think, will be to make Z Squared, but before that, Epicloud, right? I can't pee. But Epicloud, I think, is going to be a pretty straightforward record. I got some songs I think are really cool. That one that was on YouTube. I like the fact that it says now she's coming, but it doesn't quite like it. I've tried to make it not crass and try and work into it, but it sounds like I hadn't got laid for a while. So, but. There's something about Epic Cloud I think is going to be really neat, right? That's why we were talking about peeing on a plane, because we were on the plane for so long that it's like you're over the clouds, and so we thought Epic Cloud, like over the cloud, but epic loud. It's a double entendre, right? That's kind of how we've worked for many years. Everything I do is a double entendre. You know my iPad, it like bye. Do you know my see ya? Do you know my my iPad like autocorrects my name to devil? Okay, so what would you do with this, Paul? No idea? Same thing we've done at all the other guitar clinics? Okay, I'm gonna field some questions now, it's gonna be great. Okay, fielding. Perusing the audience for someone who has a question. It can be about anything.
Not about guitar playing actually, but about your singing.
Okay.
Because you got quite extremes. You've got the screaming your balls off, which is really fucking good. But then the other extreme, particularly in Numbered from Addicted, where you just go operatic.
Yeah.
Which is more difficult and which do you prefer?
They're both very difficult. I prefer neither. I prefer to do this. I like that sort of style. The ghost singing is a dream for me, man. That's easy to do, right? Like, we were in Ireland the other day, and I got a bunch of Clancy Brothers records that I haven't heard in a long time. That's some good stuff. Yeah, that sort of folk stuff. So you had a question?
Oh yeah, when you did the vocals for the Arion album,
Oh right.
Conclusion.
Yeah.
It was hard to get a character like to sing about.
It's hard to care, you know. It was like it's not like I don't like Arion. It's just like I got a real problem singing other people's lyrics. I'm supposed to be singing on Eson's new record, and he sent me the track. And I actually like his lyrics; they're really cool, right? But I think after the Vi experience, I had a real kind of like issue with like being told what to say. And so now when someone's saying, oh, you know, be pain or whatever, I'm like, but I'm not. You know what I mean? It's like it just doesn't resonate with me, right? So I said to Arion, I guess his name is. I've never met him, right? But I said, I'll do it, but I got to write my own lyrics because it just doesn't do anything for me, right? It's hard for me to emote over something that means nothing to me, right? So, you know, with that, it took me months to finally just go, what the hell am I going to say on this stuff, right? So I just put together a bunch of like sort of stream of conscience words and then, you know, hope that it made sense on some level, right? Which I guess it did.
Is that the same with, well, obviously you featured on a Gojira song as well for the new station. Did you do like the same thing there? Or?
No. I love Gojira, man. I think they're probably the best metal band right now. You know what I mean? I think Shining are pretty cool too. The Norway's Shining is pretty cool, but Gojira is definitely my favorite one. Hi guys. Hello. Yeah, Gojira is definitely my favorite one, and I like what Joe has to say, so I definitely followed his lead on that one. Yeah, but a lot of times people just want you to sing stuff. It's like, you know, it's like, here's something I should be singing to my girlfriend. Would you mind singing it? And I was like, no. I'm swimming upstream in a fucking river, you're splooge. You know? And I think it's the same thing with, you know, with like, you know, people that have like, you know, living in their parents' basement that are singing about like, you know, fighting the establishment or whatever. It's like, if it's not authentic, you're gonna know it right away, right? And so that's the thing with Gojira, man. I mean, yeah, dude means it, right? So no problem. Yeah. I'm not very good with play acting, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm a troll. Yeah.
Out of the 4 like albums you just made, like do you like them all the same, or have you sort of overplaying them and playing them?
Oh, I like them all. I think the one that I like the best is probably Ghost, just because it, you know, it's the only one that doesn't offend me, you know. And I think what I mean by offending is it's like I got no room in my life right now for things to be like trying to get my attention, you know. It's like musicians, the people in my life that are closest to me are not the ones that are going, Dev, hey. You're just like, what? I'm fucking busy, dude. Leave me alone. I just wanted to just know if you like how I'm doing things. It's like, fuck, Jesus God. So, and most of the records do that to me. They're like, Dev, remember? I'm like, yes, I remember, shut it. But at least Ghost is just like, you know what I mean? But I think that's also a product of age and having kids and things too, right? It's like, I think that's why I like bass so much now too. I just love that instrument because I think as a human being, it's like my role in life got relegated to support as soon as that started like coming into it. I said it before, like in the priority list of my family, it's like, you know, there's the baby, and then there's like finances, and there's the wife, and there's the dog, and there's the really nice cutlery, there's a couple fish, you know, and there's lawnmower, and then somewhere down the bottom is like me, right? Or any father. I mean, if you're a father, you know what I mean. That's just how it works, right? So like the idea of being support like means a lot to me now because it's like subtle in a way, and I like that, right? But it's also very controlling, right? But I think that what? Okay, next question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of your work for years, and I was just wondering, can you still listen to some of your older material, or do you sometimes cringe at some of it? Because I read in a recent interview that there's some songs that you've done in the past that you wish you could re-record or sort of do it your own way now. Like say, for example, some of the songs on like Physicist or
Sure.
Ocean Machine,
Sure.
for example.
Yeah, but I write so much music that it's like I just don't have, I don't listen to the old stuff that much. I listen to the last thing that I've done just to convince myself that the mistakes are palatable, you know what I mean? But I don't listen, you know what I mean? Could you actually turn down the dry and turn up the goo? Or maybe see it overall can come down just a touch. Yeah, sweet. Actually, a little less of the dry. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's very, very few times when I actually, like, there's not a lot of situations where, like, you know what I really want to hear now? Me. You know what I mean? It's like, my life is, every day is like my email box, everything is full of, like, pictures of me, videos of me, things I've said, interviews, all this shit. And it's like you were so confronted with your own idiocy. And it's like, and when your life is, like, constantly in print, you know, I remember doing, one of my greatest moments as far as like, you know, having work to do in hindsight was like doing a bunch of interviews on acid and then fucking taking a bunch of pictures of myself dressed up like a mad scientist. Nice work. So everybody's like, so it's the mad scientist. I was like, I'm just really fucking stupid. Sorry. No, you're crazy. Come on, do a crazy face for us. I'm like, you know, and I remember like that was compounded by the hair too. I had like, you know, stupid Krusty the Clown hair. And everybody's like, well, why'd you cut it? And I was like, because it was stupid. I'm like 40. I got a kid. I had to get a bank loan. I walked in there. They looked at me like I was like wearing their sweater, right? And they're like, yeah, but I loved it. And I'm like, yeah, but what? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll grow it back. Right? But I think that's the thing as well. Is it's like what the project is about is, in a lot of ways, forgiving yourself as opposed to dwelling on these things, you know, because there's so many mistakes that we all make, right? You said prophetically. And with Key, there was this sort of sense of like, well, you know, if we do this, we're really going to have to like, you know, confront your reasons and your decision making and all this sort of stuff. And if you can do that, then I think there's an element of acceptance is going to come with it, right? But on deconstruction at the very end, after like you realize that the quest ends in something stupid, you know, that you can't participate in, like cheeseburger and you're a vegetarian, all this. The song Poltergeist is supposed to be like, okay, now you've cornered that part of your process that has caused you problems in the past. You know, what are you gonna do? You know, are you gonna stab it to death? Or are you gonna like get married, right? And just kind of like learn to live together. And that's what the decision was. And that's why Ghost is what it is. It's like you gotta forgive yourself, man. Move past that shit because it's you. It's the decisions you made. Yeah, I did a bunch of interviews on acid and dressed up like a mad scientist. You know what I mean? Like, now you're gonna be pissed off that people remember it? Come on. You know what I mean? Next. Yeah.
Have you got any plans to go back?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of things to do together. Yeah, she's great. The thing I like about that relationship so much is it's like a lot of times like the male-female dynamic always ends up in like, you know, the romantic duo kind of thing, right? If she's married, she's got a kid, I'm married, I got a kid. I mean, it's like she's got a strong voice, I got a strong voice, we've both been through the ringer, perfect. You know what I mean? There's none of that sort of like extraneous, you know, sort of high school drama that comes along with that. It's like she's got a strong female voice, I got a strong male voice, let's rock. And I think people respond to that too, as opposed to like, oh, there's the weak female and there's the masculine. It's just like, no, it's just two neutral humans that have, you know, just happen to like, you know, both have, we both have hands. Another couple, and then I'm gonna get on to that. Yes, Paul. What's that? We got one more question, then we sign. I know sign language as well. That's something that we can do as well. But I did the wanking thing, right? Yeah. And I explained my tuning, and scales, and octaves, and I wrote like a shitty song, right? And then I made a bunch of dubious jokes. So we've pretty much covered our obligations here to a certain extent, right? And I've hawked this guitar, which I do think is good. And I've told you my problems with my ability to pee, so that's pretty good as well. So one more question. Yes, sir.
You've obviously worked with a great deal of artists. Are there any that really stand out here, or do you think back, wow, that was great, that was fun?
Well, all of them have had their ups and downs. You know, I mean, it's like I'm such a sort of misanthropic type of cat when I'm at home, and my vision, if you want to call it that, for music is very specific. But I definitely don't feel like I'm too much of a control freak. And if there's something that needs to be completely controlled, I definitely just eliminate everybody else and do it myself, as opposed to have to play that whole game where you're like standing with your arms crossed, making people feel shit for what comes naturally. You know what I mean? But each record I've made, I've chosen to make it with people that hopefully their connection to music will be free to decorate their parts in ways that comes naturally to them. Like with Annika, for example, you know, I knew that she was capable of certain things, so I wrote music that in some instances I was like, do this, and in other instances I was like, go crazy, right? And then it was usually first take. It was the same thing with drummers, same thing with like, you know, I play the bass on most of the records, right? But yeah, I don't really think about it too much, man. Like flute, Kat, you know, I just asked her, I said, here's a bunch of things that totally lend themselves to playing flute. So if you could just do that, that'd be awesome. But a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't know if this is any good, you know, and I'm just like, it's great. It's like the first thing you do. If you're good enough and it's the first thing you do, it's gonna be that impulse is what we're looking for. We're not looking for, you know, something to be absolutely perfect. We're just looking for people to react to it. And it's the reaction that's important, I think. And here's gonna be my ending cascade. Thank you so much for coming, and anybody can come to the acoustic thing tonight. It won't be like this. It'll be all right. Cool. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to charge out the door screaming. I'll sign stuff, and we'll get together and take photos and gurn, and you know, if you want crazy pictures, you got it. Except. Oh, you beat me to it. Thank you so much, guys. Can't wait to read the blog from the guys that left already. What are you supposed to do? I mean, they play fucking wanky shit and they're talking about guitars, and that's how these things work, right? I'm so surprised my fly's up, man. It usually never happens. All right, who's got a Sharpie? Tell me here, or a Dully. Okay, thanks. All right, here we go. You guys are so well behaved, it's like unbelievable.